Extra.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra. I'm Robert Chirabonyito. That is in case you have just joined, but just a quick reminder, we are here every morning from 6:30. So make it a date with us. Start your day with the national broadcaster because we have so much for you. Some light moments to spice up and brighten your morning, yet a very informative show because we look at what is happening locally, what is happening internationally. We have the sports updates. We have the newsreel. It's a fully packaged show of information that you can't afford to miss as you're starting your day. Now, today we want to look at the second annual National ICT Job Fair that will be running at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds from the 17th till the 18th. A two-day event full of opportunities, and His Excellency is expected to carry on or perform the official opening of this. But joining me on set to discuss this and more is the Commissioner, Information, Dissemination, Monitoring and Inspection at the Ministry of Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance, Moses Watasa. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Robert. It's always a pleasure to be here at UBC and to know that we are talking to the country, we are guiding, we are informing, but we are also educating. It's a new week and there's a lot coming up, like you are saying. So I'm happy to be here on Monday. I suppose I am your first guest this week, and it's an honor. So I'm looking forward to sharing with the viewers and listeners all across the country. Good morning, Uganda. We are happy as government and as a Ministry of ICT to be here to talk about the second National ICT Job Fair, which, like you've said, is opening tomorrow, 17th October, but also runs up to 18th. We feel so inspired and blessed that His Excellency the President has graciously accepted to come and preside over the opening tomorrow at 10 a.m. So we are looking forward to receiving him. But we're also so grateful to him for prioritizing ICT, because if us who follow what he says, every time he talks, ICT is always part of his speeches, his addresses. It's a core pillar for socio-economic transformation in Uganda. If you look at the Vision 2040, you look at the National Development Plan, the NDP3, you also look at the government manifesto of NRM from 2021 to 2026. ICT is flagged as a key component for driving the rest of the economy, because as we know, globally, even in Uganda, everything now runs on ICT, be it education, be it health, be it business, global business. You saw during the lockdowns we couldn't travel, but we could still do trade with the rest of the world. E-commerce, even government itself, we are taking our services online. You can now apply for a passport.
E-government.
Yeah, you can apply for a passport, you can register a company, you can file tax returns with URA. You saw last week they launched a digital revenue mobilization strategy. So in other words, there's nothing that you can talk about now that you can delink from ICT. So we are happy that as a ministry responsible for ICT, we are so happy that the government and His Excellency the President and his leadership, we have all the support as a ministry, but also as a sector. When I say sector, I mean the ministry and its agencies, many of them involved in the ICT itself, like the UCC, Uganda Communications Commission. We've got the National Information Technology Authority. We've got Posta Uganda. We have UICT in Nakao, which is a training arm agency for the ministry, because we also need to do continuous skilling in ICT. So UICT offers tailor-made courses that fill specific ICT skills needs, whether for business people, informal sector, SMEs, but also even in the formal sector, they also issue certificates and diplomas and other, Of course, then there's the communication arm ourselves, even UBC. We are so happy that UBC is one of the agencies under our ministry. We are live on air, I want to believe. And
definitely.
we're on air. So all that is supported by ICT. the media center, the media council, even communication, dissemination. And that's why I am a follower of UBC on X, I think. The platform is called X. Previously, I called it Twitter. Is it called Twitter or Twitter? So I'm happy to be following UBC. You are on air, but you are also online. You are on digital platforms. You are on social media. All of this is not possible unless we invest a lot in the ICT and also create an enabling policy framework for actors, including from the private sector, to be part of the digital revolution in Uganda as good partners of government. So the ICT job fair is one other opportunity which we thought out of the box, because as you know, this is a young population. Uganda is a young population. Over 85% of our people are aged below 35 years. Then over 78% are aged below 30 years. Uganda's median age, which means if you plot from the age of 0 up to 100 and plus, our median age is 15.7 years. So that shows you what a young population we have. I was reading a report about the state of labor force in the country of 2022. According to that report, we have 41% of our young people who are either underemployed or unemployed. Now, us as the ICT sector and the ministry, we have been asking ourselves, what can we do to create a link between people who have opportunities for the youth and the youth themselves who are looking for the opportunities. We know, for example, in Uganda, we have more than 50 universities today. A lot of these are teaching courses in ICT, but we also have a number of institutes, including our own that I've just talked about. So we are saying they are the students of ICT, but they are also young graduates of ICT. They are looking for jobs. They are looking for resources to do their own startups, including innovations in the software and even manufacturing ICT equipment like phones, computers, tablets. So these people, they are looking for also training, for example, in emerging technologies like 5G, because you know that just about 5 months ago, we launched 5G in Uganda. These are emerging technologies. We have artificial intelligence, we have robotics. You know, we have opportunities from business process outsourcing. All these require skilling and training. So this job fair is a platform that brings together people from government, but also the private sector, in fact, even civil society, who have jobs, who have internships, who have apprenticeships, who have exchange possibility for exchange. I'm happy to note that once again we've been joined by Huawei Technologies as one of the key sponsors for this. Last year we sent about 20 people to Huawei for attachments for on-job trainings, because you know Huawei is a global technology giant of global repute. Over 12 of these are already working with Huawei. So we have companies that are offering on-job trainings, because we know that sometimes universities teach people, they don't give practical job and market-related skills in adequate quantities. So one of them is you get an attachment, you get on-job training, they give you practical skills so that you are easy to absorb, but also to develop like software. Through our ministry, we have the Innovations Program, and I can tell you our young people are doing amazing things. They have developed a lot of programs. If you're on the EGP here, the e-government procurement system, that system is developed by young Ugandans with support through the Innovations project of our ministry. They have also developed several other, the one for Ministry of Education, we call it the EMIS, the Education Information Management System, developed by Uganda. In fact, even the PDMIS, the PDM, the parish model, the Management Information System, is also developed by young people, young Ugandans, which means the potential is actually huge. Especially if we can create platforms like these, where young people can attain more skills, practical trainings, attachments, exchange programs. We have MOUs, for example, including even with Microsoft. Microsoft is a software giant from America. We have that MOU, we entered it about 2 years ago. So they're also supporting our young people, especially developing software systems.
Now, Commissioner, you've talked about tomorrow and Tuesday's event as a guardian of opportunities for young people when it comes to the ICT sector. But let's understand how is the arrangement going to be? Because when you talk about giants coming, these opportunities, a young man watching us, and when he listens, he either has qualifications, when he listens to this program and is watching, one thing that comes to his mind, how do I get into this system? So what is the 2 days event, how is it going to be organized for someone to know that maybe I can strategically station myself, because opportunity comes to those that are prepared.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Robert. This is actually the gist of the job fair. Like we've said, it is 2 days. So far, we already have more than 130 companies that have confirmed participating. And for the young people who are watching and listening to us right now, we already have close to 9,000 opportunities these companies have. Like I've said, these include real job opportunities. These are guys who can employ you. These are reputable companies. Some are indigenous Ugandan companies, some are multinationals, global companies. So already there are 9,000 opportunities available for ICT graduates and even young people looking for trainings. So what happens is that, be that as it may, we are still open. In fact, if you are in Kampala, you can reach out at our teams are in Kololo at the Independence Grounds. They can register you even right now. They will register more people during the day. This job fair is open to the public. The public can access the Independence Grounds via Wampeo Avenue. Members of the public access through Wampeo. For the people, the dignitaries who are coming, who are invited, they will access Kololo through Protea, the road that is just off, I think it's called John Babiha, Acacia. So the road going up from Acacia is the one behind the Protea Hotel, is the one where the dignitaries are going to pass. For the dignitaries, because now you are going to sit in very close proximity to the president, a COVID test is a requirement. Where are we doing this? We are doing COVID tests from our ministry. From our ministry today, the whole day. We started yesterday. The whole day you can walk in if you've been invited as a dignitary to come and do a COVID test. We are also doing it in Mulago Hospital through Platinum. When you drive into Mulago Hospital, turn left and drive down. They will guide you to the place where they do these COVID tests. We are still, if you want to exhibit, we are still open to receiving you. At the end of this program, I'm going to give a phone contact, but the teams, like I've said, are already in Kololo. They can even register you from Kololo. Because without you exhibitors, we wouldn't succeed with the job fair. It is about you. It's about our young people in this country.
Let me be a bit, Commissioner, be more specific. When you talk about exhibitors, what kind of exhibitors are we looking at? Because when people hear job fair, we don't want to have someone who is going to bring dairy products. Someone who is going to bring their poultry to exhibit. HE is going to officiate. So which category?
We are looking at, because like I said at the beginning, ICT is cross-cutting.
Yes.
I don't know of any entity in this country that doesn't use ICTs. So we are looking at, even UBC here, you have an ICT department, I want to believe, which offers ICT support to your different broadcasting initiatives. We do have the ICT department or unit at the ministry. All of these, even the private sector, commercial banks, civil society. So what is happening is that we are offering a platform for all these organizations with these ICT opportunities in their ICT departments or units, depending on how they are structured, to come and tell young people, we have the following jobs. We are growing next year. We hope to employ another maybe 30 people. If you're a commercial bank, we are going to open 6 branches up country. So we are going to need more ICT people. We are offering these resources for developers of software. In our company, we have 7 of them. In our sister companies, they have 10 of them. Then we also have internships, because a lot of these companies also have internships. Because like I've said, one of the things we've noticed as a ministry or as a government is that even when universities train people, sometimes there are gaps in the actually required skills for purposes of the job market, including the private sector. Robert, I'm a member of the Public Service Commission. I can tell you that gap is real. When we test people practically, some of them, we find them wanting. So this is the opportunity that you need to add on to your knowledge by developing actual practical skills. You need to find your footing in the place of work, be it in government, civil society, but also in the private sector. So the companies are going to have, each company is going to have a store in Kololo. So they are not exhibiting physical things like computers, but they are exhibiting the opportunities and services they have for continuing students of ICT, but also young graduates in ICT. There are people, like I've said, who need support to develop software. There are people we call startups who are looking for opportunities for materials, for resources, for attachments, like I've said, maybe in other parts of the world. So we are going to have multinationals from the Far East, from Europe, even from North America, who are going to be part of the exhibition. So when you reach them, they are going to show you what they have. Jobs, we have so many. Attachments, we have so many. Under exchange programs, we have so many. Next year, this is going to be our area of focus. So if you are a continuing student, you know where to go even next year, because we know that these students are continuously looking for such opportunities. Then we also want even the government itself. By the way, ICT, Robert, is huge potential. And let me maybe just briefly talk about that. ICT is already employing about 1.4 million people in Uganda. But the ICT sector is also among the fastest growing at a rate of 14.8%. Now, if you consider that the average growth rate of GDP in Uganda is about 6.3%, a sector which is growing at 14.8% is really growing fast. In terms of contribution to revenue, last financial we contributed close to 3 trillion shillings. When I talk about the 1.4, I'm talking about across the value chain of ICT. Because if you look at services like mobile money, they're also powered by ICT. Yes. In fact, in Uganda, we have about 430,000 mobile money outlets across the country. So all these are able to start an enterprise or create a job for themselves because of the ICT revolution in the country. So it means if you consider that growth of 14.8% against a national average of 6.3%, and then you look at all this investment government is doing in infrastructure, in systems, it means that the potential to grow ICT as a proportion of GDP is very high, but also for us, our interest is to create more jobs for our young people. Our ministry is also promoting what we call business process outsourcing, whereby companies, even from our part of the world, but also from other parts of the world, like Europe, the Far East, can outsource some of their business operations. For example, things like audit, accounting, even marketing and sales. These can be outsourced. And that is why His Excellency the President is supporting our ministry to develop the capacity for BPO or business process outsourcing. And so far we are moving well. We have more than 100,000 possibilities already created. But the President is also supporting us to establish what we call BPO parks, business outsourcing parks. If you look at countries like India and the Philippines, they're the leading centers for BPO across the world. And here in Uganda, like I've said, the advantage is that we have these young people, a young population, increasingly better skilled. In fact, we speak better English, I dare say. Our English is better than our good friends from those parts of the world like India and the Philippines. So if we do more skilling and invest in these BPO parks, which require internet connectivity, you can see that going into the future, in as far as possibilities, jobs and all these that I've talked about from ICT, the outlook is very bright. So,
now, talking about that, well, you've given us a broad perspective of what government is doing in this field and the potential that ICT has in terms of transforming our economy and all that. But we still have a big challenge, Commissioner, when it comes to affordability and availability. Because ICT, of course, rotates around internet availability. However good you're going to carry out a modern, scientific, whatever operation, because ICT has transformed things, still if someone cannot get access to the internet, they may not be able to do that. If someone can't afford, you rightly talked about the times of COVID-19. We had students at our institutions of learning, but the cost of them learning via internet was also another big challenge. So what is being done in terms of accessibility, in terms of affordability? Okay,
thanks, Robert. You are indeed right that we have more work to do. We've done some good work. For example, so far government has built 4,172 kilometers of internet fiber. Fiber, I mean the cables that extend the internet connectivity to different parts of the country. We've done that, but we're also aiming to build another in excess of 6,000, like I've said. And you see, for government, our interest is to give a service, not to say we are going to this place because there's money to make. We are taking internet services and connectivity to our people, because this government believes that people deserve these services. We want inclusion. So we are investing in connectivity itself, so that geographically, in fact, our target is to cover the whole country within about 6 years, so that each corner of the country, we are already in places like Koboko, Moroto. Government has taken fiber there. By the way, the private sector doesn't do these, what we call trunk connections between major cities. That is government, probably what our people may not know. The private sector normally goes into what we call last mile connectivity. If I use Kampala, last mile are places like Mutundwe, Chireka, Luzira, but the connectivity from like Kampala to Jinja, that is government that does that. Then when you reach Jinja, places like Masese or Mbale that I know well, places like, Moni, Namakwekwe, that is now the private sector. So government connectivity, we've invested and we continue to invest. We are also further reducing the cost of the internet. You had the Honorable Minister, Honorable Chris Baryomunsa, announced already. The internet has gone down. We want to cut it further down within a year to less than $30 for a megabyte. We are going to do that within about 12 months, because once you do connectivity, then people should be able to afford the internet. The other thing we are looking at, Robert, is to reduce the cost of ICT devices. By devices, I mean computers, tablets, even smartphones. Through promoting manufacturing, for example, in Uganda, we have 1 or 2 companies already registered in Namamve Industrial Park. And I want to interest UBC. These are some of the stories that we should be doing to like show our people that these things can actually be done. Our target, Robert, is to reduce the cost of a functional smartphone to Uganda shillings 50 or 60,000. What I mean functional, I don't mean a phone as complex as an iPhone, but a smartphone which can enable someone to do social media, do e-commerce, do file your tax returns. In other words, it has the basic functions of a smartphone. So we are also offering, like here in Kampala, I hope people know, we have free Wi-Fi. We have the Greater Kampala 580 locations. We are going to publish them. The other week I was talking to director for NITAU. We are going to publish these so that people know that these are the points at which they can access free Wi-Fi in Kampala. We are looking at places like universities because we know students use a lot of internet, but they don't have as much money as yourself, Robert. They are not working. They need a lot of it for research. We are looking at hospitals. We are looking at schools. So we have 580 locations in the Greater Kampala. When I say Greater Kampala, I mean Kampala itself, Wakiso, Nansana, even Entebbe. What do we do? This internet is the bandwidth that government ordinarily should be using. We are coming out of the weekend. You know that most government offices are closed on weekends. So that bandwidth is already covered by government. But also at night, most of our offices, we close them. So what do? Then we pick that bandwidth and we release it to people to use. In Greater Kampala, already more than 2 million people use that free Wi-Fi. So we're also setting up what we call telecenters. Telecenters are places where people can go to do internet-based work. Because like we've said, we know already that some people may not be able to afford comfortably the cost of the internet, but others may also not be able to afford these devices like computers. So government is setting up what we call telecenters. We have already started on that. So that they're like business centers where people can go. In fact, we are partnering with one of our agencies, Posta Uganda and NITAU, because we have post offices across the country. But they have capacity, including capacity that we are not fully utilizing, considering that a lot of people migrated from these physical mailboxes. So we want to use some of that capacity to set up telecenters, partnerships with the NITAU, the Posta Uganda. So we open them. People to access freely. You go there, Ugandans, and access internet. We are, as you know, we are also setting up computer labs in schools to promote literacy as ICT as early as primary schools through secondary, appreciating ICT. So government is doing many things to ensure that one, there's access that you talked about through connectivity across the country. In fact, alongside fiber, we also use what we call satellite technology.
That is the hard-rich areas.
Yeah, those are hard-rich areas like forest reserves, mountains. Like where I come from, you cannot dig fiber up Mount Elgon. So what we do is mixing the technology, and some of those areas we use the satellite to ensure that we give connectivity that we are talking about, even where it is not possible to dig. And like lakes, you cannot dig fiber through a lake or through a forest.
So that even when you're at an island.
Yes, you can access, yes. So through satellite, we are taking those services even to islands, mountain areas, distant border areas. In fact, the free Wi-Fi is also offered at those border points where we have one-stop centers, where we do customs, but also immigration services. So there's the connectivity, there's the access, there's the price of ICT devices. The cost of a smartphone is going to come down to between 50 and 60,000. We are already manufacturing them. In fact, we are already exporting them. And that's why I want to watch a story like this on UBC. We are exporting smartphones to countries like Morocco already. So there's the manufacturing, but there's also the taxation, because as you know, most ICT devices have either zero or very low taxes levied on them, because government knows that we are driving socio-economic transformation in Uganda through ICT. So you cannot be doing that, but you are heavily taxing computers. So we are also investing in what we call digital skills or literacy. For these guys, we train them through UCC, and even NITAU, we have skilling programs for what we call SMEs, small and medium enterprises, because even international trade has now shifted, has gone online. Definitely. If you are importing electronics from, let's say, Korea, you don't need to get on a plane and fly to Korea. You do the specifications, you book online, you give everything, and you pay again online, and they ship them for you. So government envisages ICT as driving efficiency, but also effectives in the private sector.
Well, very much so that government is doing. And of course, I know many Ugandans are very eager when we shall have that cost of internet reduced, but also the fact that even the gadgets, both in element of taxation and having them homemade, is another thing. We are still looking at that is the second annual National ICT Job Fair that will be running tomorrow and the other day, where it is a garden of opportunities for people in the ICT sector. Allow me to go for a break. When I return, we'll still be discussing more regarding tomorrow and the other day's function, where I expect His Excellency to open, but also the general public is welcome. Come and partake. Come and get exposure. Come and see if this is your life-changing opportunity that will be at Koro Independence Grounds. I return shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Are you passionate about a healthy living and wealth generation for your household? Learn how you can easily tap wealth and health from Mother Nature using science and technology. Omukenkufu Nyanzi Julius Echuma Chiwagala Chuma has written a knowledge-packed book, Money Grows on Trees, Sente Zimera Committee. Grab your copy today at 20,000 shillings only at Prof Bioresearch Equatorial Mall, Aristoc Booklex branches, Acacia Mall, Garden City, Kampala Road, and Jumia, Uganda. Or call 0703 152 152 for deliveries. Remember, Money Grows on Trees, Sente Zimera Committee book is autographed by Omukenkufu Nyanzi Julius himself.
The Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, in partnership with Huawei, has organized the second annual National ICT Job Fair 2023, which will take place at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds on the 17th and 18th of October 2023. The main objective is to address the unemployment gap among the youth in Uganda by providing a platform for them to interact with multiple employers, access job opportunities, internships, apprenticeships, and training programs in the ICT sector. The chief guest will be His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. All members of the public are invited.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break, and thank you for being with us on UBC TV. We are still discussing the second annual ICT Job Fair that will be kicking off at Kololo Independence Grounds. That is tomorrow, and we are going to be having a number of companies exhibiting opportunities for people in the ICT sector. But don't forget, it is still open. You can run to the ministry, you can go at Koro Ceremonial Grounds. If you believe you're a potential exhibitor in this field and have the opportunities that Commissioner Moses Watasa has just been talking about. Now, what stands there for the exhibitors? Why should my company, yes, we have jobs, and of course one would say today it's not very hard for finding people to work for you. We have internship programs, and one would say people even just scramble for the few that are available. Why should I go out of my way to be part of this?
Yeah, thanks, Robert. I think that's why they call in Uganda and Mfunirawa, because we know that these companies are also rational. They are business entities. Robert, when you look at the population structure of Uganda, like I said, over 85% of our population is below the age of 35. So some of these guys are already clients of some of these entities. Because if you say 85%, then it means the rest of us, like myself, we are just 15% of the population. So much as you and me may have a little bit more disposable income to buy products and services from these companies, but if you just look at the sheer numbers, even if these young people may not have much, but they are such a huge proportion of the total aggregate market for products and services in this country. In fact, for ICT, you know that most of the expenditure now is on data. If you look at digital platforms, for example, the people who are most active there, I am there, but I'm not as active as my daughters or my son, because the young people are the most active online, in the digital space. So there is already a market, a huge market for these companies and these prospective exhibitors, especially those in the ICT spaces. But also, if you do a projection, then going into the future, these young people are going to be the you and me of tomorrow. So if I'm a company looking to get a footprint and a foothold in the marketplace, the best time to engage with young people and get a hold of them is today, other than waiting when they're older and maybe they're engaged with other companies elsewhere. So be they students, be they young graduates, this is a huge market potential today and tomorrow. But also, we have you people, Robert, and so many media houses. So this is a good place also for visibility, brand awareness, to promote, to make a pitch for yourself. But like I was also saying, this is a very good opportunity for actors from the private sector especially to interact directly with government. You know that sometimes to see a big man like you, Robert, you need to place an appointment, maybe wait to be cleared by security and other protocols. But when we are together in Kololo, where we are going to be tomorrow, and on Wednesday, we are there physically. You don't need to go through anyone to talk to me. We are going to have ministers there. Our 3 ministers are going to be there. We're also going to have ministers from other sectors. But most critically, we're going to have His Excellency the President. And after launching the ICT job fair, he's going to inspect the stores. So you never know. You can get a chance to make a pitch. If there is a policy issue that is bothersome or that you think we can improve, this is a direct opportunity for people who are going to exhibit, who are going to have stores, to interact directly with us. Permanent secretaries, commissioners like myself, ministers, in fact, even members of parliament are going to be there. So people who are decisive in formulating and implementing policy are going to be in Kololo tomorrow, but also on Wednesday. Robert, I also wanted to touch briefly on the president keeps talking about the 4 pillars of wealth creation. Thankfully, UBC, you keep, sense